Hello and welcome to episode 16 of the Roots Reports. Back from Sacramento. It's been about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks since the last episode, but I'm glad to be back and we have a lot to talk about in the world that is the Oakland Roots. First of all, it's been a weird couple weeks. I would not have predicted either of these two results. They were quite funky. The first one being good old Colorado Springs Switchback FC grabbing a 2-1 victory over the Oakland Roots at the Oakland Coliseum. A 6-point swing that is quite devastating. But Oakland Roots bounced back with a quite also surprising 3-3 tie in the Northern California Oakland Roots Sacramento Republic Derby game. And a classic game in the newly minted Hyphy Cup, which we'll probably talk about a little bit. But Oakland Roots sit, I believe it is, 11th place in the table with 11 games to go, though they are still only 4 points out of the playoff picture. There's by no means this season is over, but does it mean the season playoffs could be a little bit more dicey? That's going to be a big discussion point in today's episode. I'm going to focus more on the Sacramento Republic game. If I say Republics, I do apologize. I'm trying to kick that habit. I get why it's called Republic. I just want to call it Republics. But that's just me being dumb. Don't worry about that. That's just me being the dummy that I am. But Oakland Roots pick up a 3-3 on the road tie. They could pick up 1 point in Sacramento. I was at the game. Couple things to keep in mind for this game that were very interesting. One, Los Roots and the supporter section for the Oakland Roots absolutely kicked the shit out of the Tower Bridge Battalion, I think they're called, but Sacramento's supporter group. It was no question from passion, rhythm, chants, maybe degeneracy. Well, there was some beer throwing, but they proved that even on the road, this fandom is strong. This fandom is very, very strong. But other things to keep in mind. Sacramento can fill a place. That place was nearly filled. They announced it as a sellout. There was some seats not filled, but that full stadium, which they're building a brand new stadium, which is going to look very nice. Oakland Roots, get on that new stadium work. But overall, really liked what I saw from a road experience. Food also, they had, I think, and maybe it was because of the rivalry game, but they had at least like 15 or 20 taco trucks or food trucks. A+. Overall, game environment, parking, quite enjoyed my time in Sacramento, but let's get to the game itself. This is a game that I would have predicted, and I went into the game predicting a Sacramento Republic winning 2-0, mainly because Sacramento Republic had won, I think, 5 of their last 6 games, or at least had a clean sheet in the last 5 of the last 6 games. They had only given up 13 goals in 18 total games, less than 1 goal a game, which, as we all know, Oakland Roots were not a scoring juggernaut. But for whatever reason, derby games bring out the funk and the weirdness. I talked to the Sacramento coach and players afterwards, and they kind of chalked it up to rivalry games do funny things. So the Roots score 3 goals against the best defense in the whole league, more than they have allowed all season, basically. I can double check that one, but I'm assuming it's probably correct. Overall, a lot of positives. There is some things like the defense did give up a couple of, we need to talk about, the Oakland Roots keep giving up these, like, I'm going to put air quotes, worldies, or very tough technical goals. And at some point, I have to start asking the question, and some people have, I know on Roots blog and stuff, they've brought this up as well, is why are they in the position of giving up the opportunities to allow these goals? Some, like, I know the first goal, that McIntosh let in, hit off his hands, and there's a chance if you're a more physical goalkeeper, you push that away, and then it doesn't go into the net. Sure, I am a big Kendall, so I don't want to say stand, but I do think he's the correct goalkeeper for this team and even for next season. I think he has done above and beyond what they could have asked for him, and I think it's just kind of, we'll see down the rest of the season if I am correct in that statement, or if the slight growing contingent of people that have not been thrilled with Kendall's play are in the correct. I will 100% eat all the crow if I am wrong. I am not afraid to say, hey, that was a dumb statement by me. Let's new information change my opinion. But the Oakland Roots get 3 goals. Let me see if I can bring up the Fat Mob lovely page. Yeah. Fat Mob, here we are. Fat Mob. So, things to keep in mind. Starting lineup here. Some interesting things. Also, first of all, as is tradition, this isn't the full correct story, as Gomez and Batache, flip them around. Gomez was more on his normal left winger type slot, and Faisal was more in the middle, playing a more Ali Wasnawi role or Tyler Gibson role, which, to be fair, and this is the first game in the Benny Feilhaber era, we haven't had Ali in the midfield start a game, but we had Biaranga and we had Danny Gomez, and they played pretty well. Sacramento Republic is known for having a really strong midfield. And this was Oakland Roots' game. Oakland Roots, let me see if I can bring up the good old facts sheet, but possession, 63%. Oakland Roots had more shots. Oakland Roots had more shots on target, which has not been the case the last few weeks, especially against Orange County, especially against Colorado Springs. Very, very positive things. Other things to keep in mind, going back to the lineup. Panos is starting to come into his own and be that player that we hoped he would be. Same with Peter Wilson. I have not been the biggest Peter Wilson flag bearer, but he is now in 3 straight league games, not an Orange County game, but league games. He has scored 3 straight goals. And you're going to need him down the stretch. This is definitely one of those things where he is going to have to be a goal scorer. He's going to have to break that 10-goal mark, see how high he can get. But people I really liked in this game, I loved Gomez. Gomez also got, I believe, his first goal of the season. Really nice to see from him. But the combination of Batache and Beranga and Armanakis in the middle was really nice. Overall, I really liked, and I can't remember exactly where it is. I think it's on Blue Sky, but the gradient map for where everyone went, I really liked. They were doing what Feilhaber said he would do when he came here. He said, we're going to press. We're going to put the pressure on them. We're going to make everything annoying. Everything. And they've done that. And the middle of, especially the back line of a top 4 defense in the USL didn't really have an answer for all the things that Oakland was doing. Did Oakland give up 3 goals that were a little... Yes. Some of, there was, let me see if I can break down here where the actual scoring happened. But they had an early, Danny Gomez puts in one from Julia Bravo, where he kind of just lets it go through, bounces off his, I think it was hip or his knee, goes in the wrong direction, perfectly right in the back right part of the corner of the goal. You'll take that every single day. They answered back. They also, Peter Wilson got his second goal and a really funky, just like skied it, and just the net appeared to be there, which was really solid goal by him, giving also Faisal Batache, I think, his first assist as an Oakland Root member. Really, really good. And I'm going to be very honest with you. I spent the second half near the Oakland Roots supporter section. I was not going to join it because I kind of wanted to feel the vibes of what was going, and that's just kind of how I am. But late into that second half, Oakland Roots gives up an absolute like laser shot once again. Sacramento probably should have scored the shot before, so they kind of made up for it. I was expected in the score, and I was fully like, my end result was the Oakland Roots put up a hell of a performance against the second best team in the West, a team that is proven historically to be an absolute juggernaut in the second half of the season. And this is building blocks towards maybe a playoff push. And if they don't get a point, that's okay. And then in the 87th minute, Jurgen Damm, who had just recently come on, gets I don't know why it's credited to Camden Riley, because it came off Panos' head, or a corner kick. So this is to me, this is a Panos assist. I don't know where this Camden Riley is coming from, but Thought Mob, it can be weird sometimes. An absolute perfect right by the fan section, supporter section, curves it in. Dom boots it in with his head, goes in the back corner of the goal, and you go home with a 3-3 draw. You get the point. These need to be building blocks. These need to be things that you push forward, or playoffs aren't going to happen. Other things to keep in mind. I talked to the three Sacramento players and their coach. The players were a lot more frustrated than the head coach, as it usually is. Head coaches kind of keep that in a little bit. But you could tell that Sacramento felt that they should have won this game. Which is more, I think, of a standpoint of a team defending their home turf in a rivalry game, who's second in the table, who feels like we deserve to push forward. We deserve to earn the points, and Oakland stole those points. And it was deservingly a stolen point. But Oakland's going to have to start turning these into 3 points. 1 point is great, but as we're going to discuss very shortly, we're running out of games. There's 11 games left for the Oakland Roots, and they probably need minimum 4, maybe 5 or 6 wins in that section. We'll go over that in a second. I want to go over the Oakland Roots. A couple last things on this game before I touch on Colorado, then we're going to go to the future. Other things that came in the 73rd minute, new signing, Danny Trejo. Let me see if I can bring up 1 second. Sorry, everyone. Give me your roster. Ooh, right now. Give me your roster. Right now. Hey, here he is. All right. This man right here. Danny Trejo. The newest Oakland Root member. He's a attacking midfield, more left winger type, who they picked up from Birmingham. Was a player who had a cup of coffee in the MLS with LAFC. Has played with Panos during the championship team in Phoenix a few years back. He is one of the top left wing talents in the league. And just from watching him for 20 minutes, it was very evident that this man is probably going to be a starter quicker than not. He's also, I think, in his prime. He's 27. Oakland Roots usually pick up guys like this when they are in their, like, the twilight of their careers, when they're 34, 35, where they used to be. A good example of this would probably be the Jurgen Damm effect, where probably you would like to have had Jurgen Damm 5 years ago than Jurgen Damm today. Is he still a great player? Yes. Is he a roster defining transfer? Not as much. This, though, for a team especially looking to score goals, could be a reason you make the playoffs. He just watching him on the left side, he came in for Danny Gomez he came in for Faisal Batache on that top left-hand side. They kind of moved. They took Danny Gomez off, I believe. Let me make sure I'm not lying to you. Yes, they brought Ali Amasnawi in and moved him back into the middle and moved him out to the left-hand side. But Danny Trejo, this is a goal scorer. This is a man who can take on a defense. And versus Sacramento Republic, he was able to extend the left side of the field like they have not been able to this season, just the 20 minutes he was on the field. I think if you make the playoffs, it's because this man right here, is playing some of his best soccer/football of his career. And there's also a chance that he doesn't gel, he doesn't fit, and then this was just an experiment, and he goes his separate ways. But I think he'll be starting again. That's my prediction. I think he'll be starting against Lexington on the road this Saturday, tomorrow. But what will he be able to bring? Overall, in the past, I think he had over 2 seasons, he had 30-plus goals between 2 different levels. The man can find the back of the net. He also was a USL Player of the Week earlier this season when he scored 2 goals against North Carolina for Birmingham Legion. He then did not play another game while they made a coaching change, which clearly tells you there was issues. Fresh start, comes back to California, where he's from. I believe he's from Southern California somewhere. But fun facts as well. He played on the Northridge team that had Johnny Rodriguez. I didn't know that Cal State Northridge was such a feeder program, but maybe that's just me being dumb. Who knows? But let's bring up the standings. We're going to bring up the possibilities here in a second. So, sorry for the light mode. I'm old. I'm unk status. I'm ancient. I kid. But right now, Oakland Roots sit in. Boop, boop. Let me see if I can pull this down here. Give you a little bit more view. Oakland Roots sit with 21 points in 11th place. In 8th place is Phoenix Rising with 25. The team you are playing tomorrow, Lexington SC, has 25 points. If you want to be a playoff team, you have to go into Kentucky and get a win. That may feel extreme. And it's not one of those do or die win games. But if you are a true believer that you are the Oakland Roots, that you are a power player, that you aren't the Las Vegas Lights, because if you ask anyone in the league, do you think the Las Vegas Lights can make the playoffs? Probably 9 out of 10 people say no. Because the thing is, though, they're in the same situation as the Oakland Roots. They're only 1 point worse. They're also 21 goal differential. Oh, God. 21-point goal differential, which is atrocious. The Oakland Roots are at -7, which is not great. And playoff teams do a little bit better. But if you're going to Lexington, that's your next game. You need to at least come out away with a point and hope that Monterey Bay loses. You hope that Colorado Springs loses. The thing is, though, I also think Colorado Springs is playing Phoenix. They're playing Phoenix. That's a rough game. That's a rough game right there, where you're kind of like, pick your poison. Do you want Phoenix to win, who you're playing, or do you want Colorado Springs, who you've lost to twice this year? These are the teams that you're battling for, all the way up to, I would even say, to San Antonio. All these teams outside of Tulsa and Sacramento, everyone else has the potential to not be a playoff team. Who are you? Are you a playoff team? Or are you not about that life? So let's look at the let me bring up the Oakland Roots here. Let me bring up their table. The Titois. So you are versus Lexington. Lexington, in their last 5 games, has been better. They've also recently picked up a former MLS player. We do not know if he will be ready yet for this game. There's potential he will be, but he will not be up to verse with the team. So they're on a 2-game winning streak. They beat San Antonio, and they beat Phoenix Rising. Lexington, you could argue, is a top 5 team in the West right now. I'm not going to put my full chest behind that statement, but they are right now, when you look at the last 2 weeks, which is all I've learned in the USL, all you really should look at, because outside of the last 2 weeks, who knows? Like, look at New Mexico. We thought they were the best team in the West 5 weeks ago. And then they've absolutely taken they've been taken out back by John Jones. Like, they are on a bender of bad. Like, you could say they are Las Vegas bad right now, because they have less points than Las Vegas in the last 5. Like, New Mexico is not out of the potential of falling out of the playoffs. And they're playing Louisville this week. Bad recipe for New Mexico. But let's talk about the things that could be happening this week. Oakland Roots are playing Lexington. Monterey Bay is versus San Antonio. You probably are hoping San Antonio wins that one, just to kind of kick Monterey Bay while they're down. Monterey Bay has a tradition of collapsing at the last moment, down the road, down the season, and it's looked like it's happening again. They tied El Paso, they lost to Sacramento, they lost to Tulsa, and they lost the back-to-back week against Tulsa. To be fair, that is playing against the top 3 teams in the league for Monterey Bay. That's a rough stretch. That is a rough stretch. Other things to keep in mind. Orange County versus Tulsa. You're hoping Tulsa wins that one out. El Paso versus Sacramento is a game you don't really care about too much. You just kind of hope that they draw, and you just walk away. But let's look at the USL put out a article about percentage on playoff victories. And this is going to be very key, because I'm going to go into kind of going through the remainder of the Oakland Roots schedule, and we're going to play a game of where are the wins? Where are the wins? So let's bring this up here. This is percentages to make the playoffs. Let me give you the big zoomer here. So they think FC Tulsa, who only needs 17 more points to clinch a playoff spot, they are projected to end in first. 99% possibility of playoffs. They are currently sitting at 19 points right now. Very key. I also think, I'm not going to go through each one of these, but I think that they will give you an idea of what the Roots are up against here. Sacramento, playoff team. San Antonio, I think a playoff team. El Paso and Orange County they would have to have a collapse to not be a playoff team. That kind of goes for New Mexico, but they're a little bit more dicey than I'd like to admit right now. Here's where it gets spicy. So, they project that Phoenix Rising will finish in 9th with 37.9 points. Not physically possible, but you get the idea. 38 points. They project that 38 points is not a playoff team. Keep it remember, the Oakland Roots are currently at 21 points with 11 games remaining. They project that the Colorado Springs Switchbacks will finish with 8th with 39 points. So, 8th place to get a playoff game. Top 8 make playoffs. You need 39 points. Let's go down to the Oakland Roots here. Whoop. So, they're projecting the Oakland Roots to finish 10th with 37 points. Just barely missing out on the playoffs. The Oakland Roots currently have 54 available points. That is the max they can get. They have 11 games left, so they have 33 points total that they could, hypothetically, if they go on the greatest run in the history of mankind for Oakland Roots records, they end with 54 points. So, the Oakland Roots need, from this prediction, which could be could be off, but I lend to believe that 39 points is about the thing. In last year, it was 42 points, but we lost 4 games to the Jägermeister Cup. So let's go back to the Oakland Roots schedule here. So Oakland Roots have 11 games remaining, which means, and they're at 21 points, so they need 18 points. They need 6 victories to get to 39. They have 11 games. In the Benny Feilhaber era, they have 4 wins, and this is over 10 games. 4 wins, 2 draws, and 4 losses. This is counting Jägermeister Cup. And the only reason I'm counting them is because they were also versus USL top flight teams. It wasn't counting Aviatla or Tacoma, even though they lost both those games. Those were different regime. So they have 11 games, and in their past 10 games, they picked up 14 points. That is not good enough. They have to be better than they have been in the Benny Feilhaber era. To be fair, pretty close to what they've been. Very, very close. So just a little bit better. And they're doing well. So here comes the tough part. Let's go through the remaining 11 games and see if we can find 5 wins and maybe 3 draws. So I'm going to be a little generous here. Lexington, 1 win. Monterey Bay, 2 wins. Pittsburgh Riverhounds at home, I'll say a draw. Pittsburgh Riverhounds love a good draw. Then Charleston Battery on the road. You're not winning that one. I'm sorry. That is the easiest scheduled loss I have ever seen, especially because they're going to be fighting Louisville for the title. They will be playing hard. It's not a gimme. I'm expecting a 3-1 loss there. So right now I'm counting just wins and losses. For now, it's 7 points. FC Tulsa at home. FC Tulsa will be looking to wrap up the Western Conference with a win around here, and Oakland Roots beat them in Tulsa. I'm going with a loss, just because Oakland Roots usually likes to play up to their competition, I've noticed, but only on the road, which is very weird. They play really well on the road, so that means FC Tulsa blow it at home. So that's 2 losses. Phoenix Rising. Let's be generous. Let's say it's a win, especially if they're like nosediving. That's 3. El Paso on the road. I think there'll be a draw, but could very easily. It's 11 a.m. in the morning in El Paso, which is like 1 o'clock, I think. A midday El Paso game sounds like the least I want to be playing in the history of mankind. But let's say it's a draw. So they got 3 wins and 2 draws. Hartford at home. The Babacar Najai revenge game. I think there's a chance Hartford could be a really good team in the East. They're already kind of proving it. And especially because it's weirdly at home, that feels like a loss. I could be wrong there. Could be wrong. Las Vegas Lights at Las Vegas. I think they will be so checked out it hurts. 4 wins. New Mexico United on the road in a game that could determine a whole bunch of things. I think that Oakland Roots will draw that game. They could also lose it awfully. This is me being very generous. So 3 draws, 4, and the last game of the season versus Lexington. Right now, they'd be sitting at 15 points. They would need another win to get to 38, which appears to be the point line, or could be. I think they heartbreakingly lose to Lexington the last game of the season to not qualify for the playoffs. But they could surprise me. This could be one of those things where, like, oh, you lose to New Mexico but beat Charleston for no reason. Something silly. But Lexington is your next opponent. This feels like one of those, like, if you don't win that game, and then Pittsburgh is an insane Like, you got this, like, murderer's row of Pittsburgh, Charleston Battery, FC Tulsa. If Phoenix has kicked it around, El Paso, these 5 games suck. And then there's Hartford, 6 games that really suck. You'd need to beat Lexington, especially because Lexington, for most of this season, let me see if I can bring them up here. Do we have a history? I swear I know how to use technology. I swear it. Let's do the big Googlers, ladies and gentlemen, big Googlers. Cerritos Auto Square. All right. So, Lexington, they have been playing well recently. They only lost 2-1 to Louisville. They got absolutely blitzed by Colorado Springs. That's the weird one where you're just kind of like, huh, what's going on there? But they beat Colorado Springs. They beat New Mexico. They lost to Charleston. That's so weird. They lost to Monterey Bay. These is when the team was not good. Loudoun beat them 5-1. Louisville beat them. Loudoun beat them again. El Paso, where they didn't have a win on the season until they beat New Mexico in June. But since June, they've been a different team. And this is the thing is, though, all it takes is you win like 4 games in a row, and you are guaranteed playoffs. It's just how it's going to work. These standings are a lie, because everyone from 11th to 3rd could finish basically anywhere. I don't think that a home playoff game is in the cards for the Oakland Roots if they like exceed expectations. But wouldn't it be fun if they played Sacramento? You get that 7 seed and Sacramento's the 2 seed, and you go back to Sacramento. Woo, boy. Sign me up for that shit. Let's do some tailgating. It'd be a great experience. I'm so down for it. But overall, I think this could be one of those weird builder years where you're just like, look at the Oakland Roots go. They're building. They're doing it. They're doing it. And then they just don't make the playoffs. But if they don't make the playoffs, who sticks around? Like, are they rehiring Benny Philhaber? I don't know. Is the front office safe? I don't know. Like, this is a weird spot for the Oakland Roots to be. And the thing is that if they lose to Lexington, if they fall to Lexington, they could be in trouble. Because I don't know if there's that many, like, even if you're being generous, like, wins. Unless they do some huge upsets, like beating FC Tulsa, beating Hartford, beating Charleston, beating El Paso or New Mexico. Like, this isn't, you're not playing against, like, Detroit City. You're not playing Birmingham. You're not playing Miami. You're not playing San Antonio on a red card. This is where you have to start making your stand, because there's only 11 games, things to keep in mind, so I have to bring this up. Monterey Bay, Las Vegas, Phoenix, and Lexington have already played an extra game than the Roots. The Roots have 1 game in hand on them. So let's say that Oakland wins against Lexington to shoot up to 20 games. Then they're at 24 points. Is a much closer bracket of the actual game amount than it currently situates. Of course, you have to do that correctly. The same thing goes for Orange County and New Mexico, who are 2 games, even 3 games below Monterey Bay. So, like, they could be 9 points higher if they won all their games compared to where Monterey Bay sits sluggishly with only 9 games left at 23 points. Like, Monterey Bay is the team you go, ooh, honey, I just don't think it's happening this year. Though they could play spoiler and then they're back in the hunt. They come to the Oakland Coliseum in a week. And I'm excited. Hopefully I can talk to someone from Monterey Bay. I'm going to be reaching out and we'll see what's going to happen. I'm excited for the shenanigans that could be afoot. And I'm excited to what happens. This is going to be a fun playoff race to see if they even make the playoffs. And then, of course, like, they could make the first game and have to fly to Tulsa, and you'd be like, okay, funky monkey. But overall, this is the time for the Oakland Roots to kind of put up or shut up. Are you a team that we should care about? That we should believe what you say? Or are you a team that needs some overhauling? We're going to find out. I'll be live probably tomorrow night or Sunday morning with the results versus Lexington. We'll see what happens. My prediction right now, 2-1 Oakland Roots, being bullish. Though I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of those weird humid blowouts because Kentucky is going to be humid as. But thank you so much. Make sure to like and subscribe. The Roots Report, everyone, and I'll see you next week.